and exterior. In the flight deck, all of the panels have integral lighting. The illumination level may be varied by the flight crew to suit the situation. Floodlights are also available for the instrument panels. Floodlights and spotlights illuminate work surfaces such as the pilot tray table as well as the side consoles. There are two dome lights in the cockpit that provide illumination for the entire flight deck area. Exterior lights satisfy standard illumination requirements for aircraft exterior lighting. There are navigation lights, strobe lights, beacon lights, landing lights, taxi and takeoff lights, runway turnoff lights, wing inspection lights, and logo lights. Emergency exit lighting provides lighting to illuminate the emergency exits and to assist passengers in finding the exits. There are seatbelt and no smoking signs throughout the cabin. We will now look at the controls and indicators associated with the lighting system of the A320. On the first officer's side of the overhead panel, there's a lighting control panel with 4 switches. Starting on the left side of the panel, there's a knob which controls the on-off function of the integral lighting for the overhead panel. It also functions as a rheostat to adjust the illumination level. Click on the overhead integral light knob to turn the overhead integral lights on and off. The next switch is the ICE indicator and standby compass light switch. When it is placed in the on position, the standby compass will light up and a small cylindrical probe mounted on the exterior of the center post of the windscreen will also be illuminated. This is the ICE indicator. It is not heated, and it is installed to enable the flight crew to see if ice is building up on the structure of the aircraft. The next switch is the dome light control switch. It has 3 positions: off, dim, and bright. It is sometimes referred to as the emergency light switch, since the right dome light will illuminate if the aircraft is on battery power only and the switch is placed in the dim or bright position. Click on the dome light switch to turn the dome lights on or off. The last switch on this panel is the annunciator switch. This 3-position switch has a bright and dim position for the annunciator lights. It also has a test position that turns on all the annunciator lights in the cockpit for a light check. Click on the annunciator lights switch to place the switch in the test position. This will test all the annunciator lights. There is a reading light control for each reading light. The reading lights are located on each side of the overhead panel. The control is an off-on rotary switch that acts as a rheostat. A reading light is installed on the forward frame of each flight deck sliding window. These lights illuminate the chart holder located at the base of the sliding windows. These lights have an off-on switch and a separate brightness control knob. On some aircraft, this reading light is installed on a swivel mounted to the window post of each pilot's sliding window. It is automatically powered when the light is extended from its holder. This type of light also has a rheostat to control the brightness of the light. There are additional lighting control panels located on the center pedestal. On the captain's side, there is an off-on knob that controls the lighting intensity of the forward instrument panel floodlights. The other lighting knob controls the integral lighting of the pedestal and the forward instrument panel. It is an off-on switch that functions as a rheostat as well. On the first officer's side of the center pedestal, there is a rotary switch that controls the floodlighting for the center pedestal. The underside of the center part of the glare shield has 2 rotary controls. The control to the left of center adjusts the illumination level of the integral glare shield lighting and the LEDs located on the FCU. The control to the right of the center regulates the lighting intensity of the FCU displays. There is a light under the glare shield above each pilot's tray table. The light shines on the tray table and is controlled by an adjustment knob located on the outboard side of the light. Each pilot position has a 3-position switch that controls the console and floor lights for that side. The 3 positions are off, dim, and bright. The lights controlled by these switches illuminate the floor around the pilot's seats, the side console, and the briefcase area where the crew's flight bags are placed. Exterior lighting consists of rotating beacons, wing inspection lights, navigation and logo lights, taxi and takeoff lights, landing lights, runway turnoff lights, and strobe lights. The controls for the exterior lights are located on the overhead panel. Starting on the top left of the exterior light panel, the first control is the strobe light switch. It is a 3-position switch. These positions are off, auto, and on. Auto will activate the strobes when the aircraft lifts off the ground and the main landing gear struts extend. When on is selected, the strobes begin to flash. The control panel on this screen is interactive, so you can control the exterior lights as desired. In this scenario, the aircraft. Starting on the top left of the exterior light panel, the first control is the strobe light switch. It is a 3-position switch. These positions are off, auto, and on. Auto will activate the strobes when the aircraft. When on is selected, the strobes begin to flash. The control panel on this screen is interactive, so you can control the exterior lights as desired. In this scenario, the aircraft is on the ground. Off will turn off the strobes, and a green Strobe Lights Off memo will appear in the memo area of the ECAM if the aircraft is in flight. The beacon switch turns the top and bottom red anti-collision lights on and off. The control panel on this screen is interactive, so you can use the switches to control the exterior lights. For this scenario, the aircraft is airborne. The wing light switch controls the lights on both sides of the aircraft. Their navigation. Nav 1 turns on the logo lights and the position 1 navigation lights. The Nav 2 position does the same for position 2 navigation lights. Off extinguishes the lights. The aircraft is equipped with logo lights. The logo lights only illuminate when the main gear struts are compressed or when the flaps are extended, provided, of course, that the switch is in the on position. On aircraft not equipped with logo lights, the switch on the overhead external lights control panel is labeled Nav. There are 2 lights mounted on the nose gear strut. The smaller light is the taxi light, and the larger light is a takeoff light. They are controlled by the nose light switch. The nose light switch is also a 3-position switch. The taxi position turns on the smaller of 2 lights located on the nose wheel that points forward. The takeoff position turns on both the taxi and takeoff lights. Off will turn off both the lights. These lights will turn off automatically when the nose landing gear is retracted. The landing lights are mounted under the inboard portion of each wing, and both are retractable lights. The lights will only illuminate when extended. The control panel on this screen is interactive, so you can control the nose lights at will. For this scenario, the aircraft is airborne. There are two landing light switches which are controlled by an associated switch. Each landing light switch has three positions. The on position will extend the landing light on the selected side, either right or left, and then illuminate the light when the light assembly is fully extended. The control panel on this screen is interactive, so you can now control the landing lights. For this scenario, the aircraft is on the ground. When either landing light is extended, a memo display on the ECAM will indicate landing light in green. Off will extinguish the associated landing light, but the light will remain extended. The retract position retracts the associated landing light and extinguishes the lamp. There is no speed restriction for the extension and retraction of the landing lights. However, if either or both landing lights are extended at airspeeds above approximately 280 knots indicated airspeed, you will notice a buffeting of the airframe. The runway turnoff light switch controls two lights that are located on the nose gear assembly. These lights are canted approximately 45 degrees from center. They are designed to illuminate taxiways as they are approached and assist the captain in making turns. Like the taxi and takeoff lights, these lights will turn off automatically when the nose landing gear is retracted. The control panel on this screen is interactive, so you can control the runway turnoff lights. For this scenario, the aircraft is on the ground. Cabin signs consist of no smoking and fasten seatbelt signs. The lavatories have a return to seat sign. The control for the seatbelt signs is located on the overhead panel. The seatbelt switch is either off or on. When the switch is moved to on, the seatbelt signs and the return to seat signs in the lavatories illuminate and a chime sounds throughout the cabin. There will be a green memo in the ECAM memo area that says seatbelts when the seatbelt signs are illuminated. When the switch is moved from on to off, the signs extinguish and the chime will sound again. Click on the seatbelt switch to turn the signs off. The control for the no smoking signs is located on the same panel. It is the three-position switch, on, off, or auto. Due to smoking regulations, most carriers have the no smoking signs illuminate automatically when electrical power is on. For airlines that use the no smoking signs, a no smoking ECAM memo appears when the signs are illuminated. The no smoking switch also controls the exit signs. When the switch is placed in the on position, the exit signs will illuminate and a chime will sound. In the off position, the exit signs will extinguish and a chime sounds again. The no smoking switch also controls the exit signs. When the switch is moved to on, the exit signs will illuminate and a chime will sound. In the off position, the exit signs will extinguish and a chime sounds. Click on the no smoking switch to see the auto function indications. When the cabin altitude exceeds 11,300 feet, plus or minus 350 feet, the fasten seatbelt signs, no smoking signs, and exit signs automatically illuminate regardless of their associated switch position. The emergency lights consist of the exit signs, floor lighting, and overhead lights in the cabin. The emergency exit lights are controlled by the emergency light switch located on the right side of the panel. The emergency exit light selector switch has three positions. Each position has a detent to securely hold the switch in the selected position. The on position turns on all the emergency lights. There is a switch on the pursers panel that performs the same function and will turn on all the emergency lights. The lights will illuminate automatically regardless of the flight deck emergency lights switch position. The armed position will cause the emergency lights to illuminate when either the DC Shed Essential bus or AC Bus 1 fails. Off extinguishes all the emergency lights. The emergency exit light off indicator will illuminate in amber if the selector switch is placed in off. Normal operations of the interior lights basically consist of adjusting the brightness of the lights to a level appropriate for the existing ambient light level. Usually, the annunciator lights are set to bright during the day and dim at night. Normally, the emergency lighting system is armed during the captain's flight deck setup. They will remain armed until reaching the destination. At that point, the system would normally be turned off. Exterior light operation is a little bit more complex. The strobe lights are usually turned on when the aircraft is cleared onto the runway. They will remain on until the aircraft clears the runway at the destination. This is dependent on the operator. Some operators may have the captain select auto and allow the system to operate automatically. The beacon is turned on before engine start or pushback and will remain on until the engines are shut down at destination. The wing illumination light are turned on by the first officer so that the lights can be checked during the exterior pre-flight. The navigation and logo lights are usually left on at all times. Most often, the selection is in Nav 1 unless there is a burnt-out bulb discovered during the pre-flight and it is not possible to replace it prior to departure. Then, Nav 2 would be selected. The taxi light is usually turned on whenever the aircraft is moving. When the aircraft is cleared for takeoff, the takeoff light would be selected. Landing lights are turned on when the aircraft is going onto the active runway. They are kept on until the aircraft reaches 10,000 feet and begins to accelerate. They are then retracted. This is done because when they are extended at higher speeds, it creates an airframe vibration which can be annoying. There is no limitation associated with landing light extension. During the descent, the landing lights are extended and turned on at 10,000 feet. They remain on until the aircraft has cleared the active runway. Some operators will leave them extended if the aircraft will be going back out on another flight to reduce wear on the motors. Others will have the crew retract them after each landing. The runway turnoff lights are used at night to illuminate upcoming taxiways and runway turnoffs. They are also turned on as part of a general attempt to increase the visibility of the aircraft. To close out this module, let's look at the operation of the emergency lights. The emergency exit lighting system will turn on the cabin emergency exit lights automatically in the event serious electrical problems are experienced by the aircraft. They may be turned on manually by selecting the on position on the selector switch. The dome light switch, as mentioned earlier, is sometimes referred to as an emergency light switch because it will turn on the right dome cockpit light if only battery power is available. The shape of the switch, flat with ridges, is different from other switches in the area. This makes it easier to find in the dark. In an emergency electrical power situation where the emergency generator is supplying power, lighting is limited. It is adequate for many tasks, but having your flashlight readily available will be a great advantage in coping with the problem, especially at night. This concludes the lighting module.